Hey everyone, and welcome to the channel. Today we're going to be going over my reading channel and maybe some life goals for the year of 2025. And let's go ahead and start with the books. So this year I am actually decreasing the number of books that I want to read again this year. Last year had my goal set at 45 books, and this year I am going to go ahead and drop that down to 40. Now I do expect that I will blow past this goal. Last year I ended up reading 59 books, but I also plan on reading a few very long books this year. So I'm trying to, find a good middle ground here for that number. In the grand scheme of things, I think this is just kind of like a fun thing to do. I don't actually really care how many books that I read. Who knows? Life stuff could come up and kill my reading, or I could read a lot more. But in general, I think 40 is like a good number. It's a little bit less than one a week, but still a good goal to strive for. Like I said, reading is just like a fun thing. So I don't think I'm ever going to be somebody who reads like 150 books a year or anything like that. But I think 40 is a pretty solid goal. And of that goal, I kind of had to have a sub goal of reading and making significant progress in my two very long ongoing series. Those series are Malazan, Book of the Fallen, and The Wars of Light and Shadow. Malazan, I just finished, or not just finished, but the most recent book I finished was Memories of Ice. So House of Chains is up next. And I don't really know exactly what significant progress for Malazan looks like for me. Obviously, Erikson's writing is immense. The world he has built is huge. And it's a complex series that I do enjoy, but I have also found myself fatigued from it at times. And so it's significant progress in it. I don't have like exactly what that means. It feels like I'll know what it is when it happens, right? I would love to just say 5 books or whatever, but I think realistically, if I read another 3 books in that series this year, that would probably feel like significant progress to me. I know after House of Change is kind of a natural stopping point, and so maybe I'll read House of Change, realize that, okay, I want to focus more on maybe Wars of Light and Shadow, because the next arc that I'm currently reading in that is 5 books long, and I feel like that would be significant progress in that series to finish. I believe it's the Alliance of Light arc in Wars of Light and Shadow by Jenny Wirtz. So, I'm kind of playing with that a little bit there, but those are 2 very long series that are, immense world building, complex worlds, great writing, not just good, great, and just 2 series that I want to give that time and dedication to without feeling rushed in any of those aspects. So that's kind of a sub goal of that 40. And also another one is I would like to, again, read 1 nonfiction book in 2025. In 2024, I think I ended up reading 2 or 3 nonfiction, which was a nice little bit of change of pace, but nonfiction is normally not something that really calls to me all that much, but there are maybe every now and again some like historical figures that I find interesting and would like to read a little bit more about. And right now I kind of have my eyes on, I believe it's called American Caesar, and it is a book about the American general Arthur Douglas. Oh, I'm forgetting his name, but he was kind of the the general during the Korean War, and apparently, had some very strong political views of like how things should happen. And I believe he was like dismissed by the president at the time for a bunch of different things. And I don't know, he seems to be like an interesting historical figure, but there are others as well. Like that American Caesar is like a 40-hour long audiobook, so I don't know if I'm that invested in it, but just in general, like American history in particular is something that I have always found interesting, and I don't know. Anything that's too ancient, I would actually, I'm going to take that back. Ancient Egyptian stuff I find interesting, but I don't know if I want to read about it. A lot of this stuff I like to watch in like documentary form. And so that's maybe why I sometimes struggle with nonfiction. So maybe I need to pivot and try something else. Maybe something, I don't even know. Nonfiction. If you have good nonfiction suggestions, definitely let me know in the comments, because I would definitely like to, see some options. Another reading goal I have this year, and this is going to sound probably a little strange, but it's to be a little bit less adventurous this year. And what I mean by that is last year I tried, of the 59 books or whatever I read last year, like 30 of those were new to me authors. And so I very much made it a focus to try and expand my reading horizon and everything. And this year I kind of want to focus in a little bit on more of authors I know that I really like, series that I really care about, or series that I think I'm going to really like. For example, Sun Eater is going to be a priority series for me this year. I don't know exactly when I'm going to start that. I would love to be caught up for whenever the last book comes out. I doubt that's going to happen. Or the Blackest Heart, something I'm going to be reading this month. I read The Forgetting Moon last year. That was a new to me author, and I want to, continue on that path. I think it's one of those traps that I can fall into, where you want to keep expanding your horizon. You want to keep trying new things, and you spread yourself so thin that you never actually get to like dive deep into one place that you actually really care about. So for me in particular this year, it's such a strange thing, but I'm going to probably be a little bit less adventurous. I'm going to try to focus in, finish finish some series, that would be great if I could actually finish them. I already mentioned, some of the significant progress I want to make on some series, but there are definitely some trilogies and stuff that I do want to, make progress on. And that doesn't mean I'm not going to try anything new this year, but I kind of want to stay a little bit more focused. Maybe read some things that I have already bought that I at one point thought I was really going to like. Those kinds of things I think are going to be a goal for me, because last year, not that it was a disaster, because that's too strong of a word, but it did give me a large variety, a large variety of stuff that I liked and didn't like, and it was just it was a lot, and it was a lot in a good way. But I don't think that's something I want to do every single year. So like maybe next year in 2026. So planning way ahead, that was maybe a cadence I would like to go back to, but I think there's like a balance to be struck in there. And I think this year I'd kind of want to just come back and maybe find some things that I really love from authors and stories I already love. And then my last reading goal is really going to be to try and be more consistent with my manga reading. So I have always been and this is going to count graphic novels and any comics I read as well, but manga is the one that I read the most of at this point in time. And in 2024, I was very streaky, and I always kind of have been. So manga is the kind of thing that I normally would, I might not read it for 2 weeks, and then in a week and a half, I read 120 chapters or something. And that's just kind of always been my experience with it. I think part of that is I am in the middle of a lot of series, and I'm caught up on a lot of those series. So I think part of the problem is I'll catch up on everything, and then I'll wait 3 or 4 weeks and then read everything until I'm caught up again. So I think the fact that I am starting at least 2 new series right now with Frenin and Dragon Ball Super, that maybe I can be a little bit more consistent and make my way through those. And maybe I can focus a little bit on One Piece. I enjoy my time with One Piece. I think it is good, but it is not the revelation that I was hoping it would be. Obviously, it gets so hyped up online that I knew it probably wasn't going to reach that hype, but it just hasn't grabbed me yet. I'm still pretty early on. I'm only 160 or so chapters in, so like, there's a lot to go. It's a series with like 1,000 chapters, or is it getting close to 1,200 at this point? So like, I'm just barely scratching the surface there, but I think maybe if I can make some like slight progress consistently, instead of binging 50 chapters at a time and then ignoring it for six months, that might be a little bit better. So those are my reading goals. I would definitely like to know what your reading goals are. You can let me know those down in the comments. And now I'm going to switch gears and talk a little bit about some channel goals I have. And then after that, I'll talk about some of the life goals. So going into some channel goals, I would like to do 1 live stream this year. So I have been on a few live streams. I have done some collaborations with people. Those have been awesome. But this year I would like to host 1 live stream. I already have an idea in mind for it. I think that it might be fun to do a live stream when I hit 2 years on BookTube, and I think that, I don't know, go live for an hour or so and just try it out. Like I said, I have been in those ones, but I've never been the one orchestrating it. And I don't know, I think it would be fun to at least give it a try and see what comes of it. So that is something that I'm going to at least attempt, I think. And if I really enjoy it, maybe it's something I can do every quarter or so. I don't think I'm going to be somebody who has a live stream regularly or anything like that, but it is something that I at least want to give a try. This goal isn't even a real goal. This is just a thought that I've had. And in general, this is really 2 separate goals, but to maybe up the production level a little bit here on the channel. So obviously, this is a little bit of a creative outlet for me. I'm not necessarily the most artistic person. I'm just not, but I do think that maybe adding a little bit of production value here would be a good thing for your viewing experience in general, and just like my enjoyment of the editing process. Now I'm torn on it because I like the idea of just sitting down talking, and that's the video, right? But it also might be nice to have a little bit of other things mixed in there as well. And the same thing is going to be true with thumbnails. Like, I think I have had the same formula for a while. I think it looks nice. I think it works well. I think it conveys what I'm trying to do in a video. And I've never really tried to do any of like the super clickbaity things. Not that I begrudge anybody who does. Like, I totally get it. Clicks are what matters for a lot of people, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I don't know. I think I can maybe be a little bit more creative and try some new things that, maybe convey the message of the video a little bit differently. But that is just, one of those random things. Another goal that I do have for the channel, and this is a little bit of a silly one and does go into that creative outlet a little bit, and you've already seen a little bit of a glimpse of this, is so I'm mostly an audiobook reader or an ebook reader. I don't really buy a whole lot of physical media anymore. I like the idea of actually owning physical media, but I don't like the idea of storing it and taking up space and all that kind of thing. So what I want to do is, for books that I do not have a real cover for, I would like to continue to draw my own. And like I said, you have seen some of these if you watch my weekly update. You can see I have started to make kind of jokey, fun book covers for some books that I have read. So this is Edge of Tomorrow. It's a Cliff called tomorrow. You get it, right? But I think it would be fun to continue to do that for all of the books that I read that I don't actually have a physical cover for. It's silly, it's kind of fun, but I do think it is uniquely me. I don't know anybody else who does that. And so I think it is just like a fun little quirk I can add to the channel. Like, it's already silly enough that I always wear an orange shirt in all of my videos. And I think this can just be another one that, makes my videos a little bit different. And the last two channel goals that I currently kind of have for me, one is just to continue to be a part of the community. I think it's important to be in and around some of these things. Like, I really enjoy a lot of it, so that helps. But like being in live streams when people are live streaming, being in comments, watching people's videos, all that kind of stuff, I think it's nice to be a active member of the BookTube community, at least this little corner of it, as much as possible. Like, if I see somebody comment on my video and that they have a channel, I'm very inclined to go subscribe and try to watch some of your videos. Obviously, it's a monumental task to do that for everybody, and some people, get rotated in and out, and I can only watch so much. There's only so much time in the day. So that is something I want to continue to try to do, be active in the community, just because I think it's important to support my other creators, right? It can be a lonely thing here just talking into a camera. So that's why everyone talks about how comments are so appreciated and like all of those kinds of things. And I do think that's why some people do the live streams, because you do get that back and forth. And I do think that is really nice. So it's something I want to continue to try to do. And just recently, I would also like to continue doing some Instagram stuff. So I don't do a whole lot on Instagram, but what I do is kind of like a weekly update there as well. And it's something that I did pretty much every week last year. I think I missed a few when I was out of town and everything, but I just kind of redid it, revamped it. It looks, I think, a lot nicer now. Maybe I'll put it up on the screen so you can see. But yeah, so I do have that. I don't do a whole lot of other stuff there on Instagram, but it is kind of the one place where people can contact me and, my one other social media. So that is something I want to continue to do. And that's another kind of creative outlet that, lets me work on some different things than other stuff. And now just some very general life goals that I have for this year. Now, there's a lot of stuff that I have goals for that I just don't feel like I pertain to talking here on BookTube, but there are a few things that I have mentioned here in the course of my channel that I think I have some interesting goals for. So I am slightly conflicted on this, but I think I will probably end up doing at least one or two strongman competitions this year. I have the idea that it would be fun to qualify for nationals. I don't know if doing nationals would be the most fun thing, but I do like the idea of at least qualifying for nationals. And so there are some opportunities for me to do that here coming up in the next couple of months over the course of this year. And I do think that would be fun. Sticking with that, I would love to do a really big Atlas stone. If you don't know what an Atlas stone is, I'll go ahead and post a video of me doing an Atlas stone. The video I'll probably post is me doing a 290-pound Atlas stone for 2 or 3 reps. I can't remember off the top of my head. And I have been doing Atlas stones without tacky. For people who don't know, tacky is this really sticky stuff that you put on your arms and stuff that help you hold the stone better. And the fact that people have told me that they think I'll be able to get a lot out of tacky because apparently it helps a lot. I don't know, I haven't used it. And so I don't even know what, I don't even have a number. My gym has a 340-pound stone, and then I think it jumps to 390. And so if I could do all of the stones at my gym, I'd be really happy. That would be awesome. So like, I guess a 300-400-pound stone would be my kind of goal for this year. Now, some of that will depend on training, right? If I do end up doing a competition, there's not stones in it. Stones aren't something I'm going to train and do. So there's like a little bit of give and take there. I think this is another one where it will depend. I would really like to pull 705, so 705-pound deadlift this year. Deadlift is something that, funny enough, I'm still kind of new to, because when I was a power lifter before I did strongman, I was more of a sumo puller. So it's just a different stance for people who don't know. But in strongman, it is only conventional deadlifts. And so I've been working really hard to kind of adjust that. My deadlift currently is in like the low mid 600s, like 635. So I would really like to get it closer to 705. I think 705 would be an awesome number to hit. I guess technically the milestone to hit before 700 pounds would be 300 kilos, which is 661 pounds with a bunch of decimals or something, I think. Or maybe it's 660, but people round up to 661, just depending on the decimals. So that would be another one. But I'm lying to myself if I say that's where I really want to stop, right? I definitely would want to get to that 705 number. And I'm currently working very hard on bringing up some of the weaknesses in my deadlift, and I would like to do it without a suit. I guess I could always try a super suit if I really wanted to. For people who don't know, it's basically like this, they call it a suit because it's this thing you wear. It helps keep your body tight, huge amounts of pressure, and basically lets you lift more. I mean, that's what it does. But I would like to do it without a suit if I could. But yeah, that is just some very random lifting stuff. I'm sure I have some other goals. Like I would like to hit a bigger axle overhead, a bigger log overhead. Like if I could hit 325 on log, I'd be really ecstatic. If I could hit, honestly, 345, I'd be pretty happy with if I could hit overhead on the axle, but really 365 would be what I would want to hit on the axle. And yeah, like I said, all of those kind of can change and vary based on any competitions that I do. I'd have to adjust my training and maybe move away from some of those goals if I decided to put a bunch of attention into a competition. But those are just some general goals that I have. Definitely let me know any of your goals. Obviously, I talked about a bunch of different stuff here today, so I'd love to know what goals you have for 2025. And let me know if you think I forgot anything that was super obvious that I should make a goal for myself, because in a couple of weeks, I'll think of something and be like, that is definitely a goal that I should have for 2025. But that is all for me. And as always, remember, read what you want when you want.